Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our show, Growing Campaigns. Our intro will be slightly different today. We're going to do a little tidbit, and then actually record our episode tomorrow, and just to give our players some information they're gonna need to know for tomorrow. But this is our show, where 5 of my good friends and I get together and we play Dungeons & Dragons across the United States through a platform known as Fantasy Grounds. Each week we come together to partake in storytelling and spirits. We always have a themed cocktail, which is our made from scratch Bloody Mary. This week.
Bloody Mary.
So this is our fourth and final week with the Bloody Mary, so stay tuned next week for our next cocktail. If you'd like to see how any of our cocktails are made, please go to the detailed description below. There will be a link to our channel Bartender, along with links to our website, which will have all of our episodes. Feel free to join us Sundays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to experience our growing campaigns as we embark on our Spooky Boy campaign. And with that being said, let's get back into the story. So last we left off, our adventurers continued west on the old Svalich Road. Not far down the road, they found themselves at a crossroad. After some debating, they decided to avoid the Serpool and head straight to Valakai. On their way, the trip was uneventful until they came to a bridge. Tension began to rise among the party as the fog dissipated, revealing the Serpool encampment far off in the distance. Fed up with the arguing, Helena shaped water into a cube and soaked her traveling companions, except Kallie. In response, Adonis tried to give her a quick, shocking grasp. Frustrated, Helena began to run across the bridge, and this is where things got interesting. Only for a moment, Helena was able to spot the sad apparition before it entered her body.
Who are you? What's going on?
Shh. Quiet down, dear. Everything will be all right. In just a moment. Why are you so sad?
That jerk Adonis tried to hurt me. I can't believe it. I didn't think my new friends would do such a thing.
Friends? Honey, those aren't your friends. You think they'll be your friends once they figure out what you are?
Stop it. They wouldn't abandon me.
Well, let's just find out how close you really are with your friends. Through a haze, Helena could see her body turn and move towards the group. It was as if she was disconnected from her body. She tried to struggle and take back control, but it was futile.
No, stop. You're going to hurt them.
She saw her body raise a hand and shoot magical poison arrow from her palm, hitting Buio directly in the chest.
I'll do anything. Please.
She was sobbing at this point. Helena had lost all control of her body to the spirit. Overcome with sadness, all she could do was watch as her comrades were stricken down, one by one with their shadows and her spells. Once the battle was over, Helena felt the spirit leave her body as she collapsed in a heap on the bridge. As she was teetering on the edge of consciousness, she saw a finely dressed man look over her and her fallen party and whisper, "How disappointing." So for this next part, all of you are unconscious, and Helena, I will need a Constitution saving throw.
Shoot. Zoink scoops. A solid 4.
Oof.
Helena, you have 2 blessings.
I do. Do they carry over into the afterlife?
if you would like to use one. Or you can take
I
your
would.
full. Yeah, okay.
No, that's a 1d4, ain't it?
Yes, it is. I just realized that, like, in the middle of the battle, Ismark used the blessing, and then someone was like, "Oh shit, we have blessings!"
I think I can't remember if it was after I was on.
So with the 3,
That was
it's
the
a
guy
7.
that said that.
7.
I'm pretty sure I used all of mine beforehand.
Buio, you have 1. Gudren, you have 1. Adonis, you have 1. Kallie, you have 3.
Where is that?
It's probably not. It's probably not on the sheet. It was just something that Donovich gave you that I've been recording myself.
Okay.
Anyways, so from Helena, we have a 7. Adonis, I need a Constitution saving throw.
Ah, there it is. I found it.
No.
So Helena, how deep is your grave?
I'm still adding that blessing. I don't care that it's a 14, which is now a 16.
Okay.
16.
Buio, Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw. That'd be a 6.
Oof.
And we're gonna add that blessing for a total of 10.
Wow. I was really hoping you'd join me in death.
Gudren.
No, nothing personal.
I get +1, right, at the end of it? Cloak? Right?
That's.
Or is that ability?
Is it? I can't remember if it's ability or saving throws.
Oh boy.
I can find out very quick, and it is probably pretty important for you, right?
I hope it doesn't matter, but
Do AC and
saving
saving
throws.
Like-
Yep.
I
Okay.
would like him to get
Okay, Constitution.
Hey, good for you.
So it's a 13. Let me go ahead and add that inspiration or that whatever. Another 3. Let's go 16.
And finally, Kallie. I need a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh.
3.
3.
23.
You won't need no gosh darn blessing.
I'm already
Maybe.
so blessed.
She
knows?
blessed. I mean, why even roll at this point? Because if she doesn't get it, then we're all just dead.
Yeah,
Why
do
live?
this first.
Each one of you had very different situations, and all
Oh,
needed
you're right.
a different number.
Yeah, yeah.
He only told me to roll, so.
I can't handle this.
Adonis, you come to consciousness, and you go to get up, but paralysis sets in. You cannot move, but you watch.
Oh god, that's worse.
Buio and Gudren
Oh,
and Helena.
god. That means we're all dead.
You feel the embrace of a hand on your chest. You welcome the embrace, and you begin to picture those near and dear to you, but the embrace begins to get cold, and continues to get colder and colder. Within a few moments, the embrace is now freezing cold and it burns into your chest. You no longer see images of your loved ones as your eyes burst open, and you find yourself laying on your back, looking at the familiar skies of Barovia. You look up, and you see a flash of lightning, followed almost immediately by the thunder, as it begins to rain. So, the 3 of you sit up, and there's a brief moment of relief as you look around and there is no magical darkness near you, and the shadows you last saw are nowhere to be found. The relief begins to shift towards horror as your eyes catch a figure, and you turn your head to look. A cloaked figure is swirling his arms in circles in front of his chest and above his head. You watch as the fog that once brought you images of your worst nightmare begin to spiral around the figure. He tilts his head towards the ground and explodes his arms towards you. You watch as the fog forms tightly wound tendrils that flow from his hands, like skinny tornadoes weaving a path towards you. The tendrils of twisting fog crash into your face and permeating your mouth and begin to travel down your throat.
This is getting uncomfortable.
The figure begins to approach closer. You can now feel your lungs begin to expand as you catch your breath for the very last time. Buio, do you have any last words?
Oh man. No. I guess I don't. I don't really trust these people, and now I'm just gonna leave.
Gudren, any last words?
Oh God. No. I'm gonna reach out for Buio, realize he doesn't care, and then just slowly die.
And
Sad.
Helena, any last words?
I'm sorry.
As the life leaves Buio, Gudren, and Helena, Adonis watching, you see the cloaked figure walk over to them, and he presses his thumb onto their forehead, leaving a bloody thumbprint on his most recent victims. Adonis, as you look, he is now staring directly into your eyes, and he's walking slowly into your direction. You try to crawl away, but you have no feelings. You try to speak, but no words come. He is now standing over you, and he is eyeing you very closely. After an uncomfortably long pause of him towering over you, he gets down to one knee. He grabs you under the chin with his hand, and he brings your face very close to his and says, "Don't disappoint me again." He releases his grip and lets your paralyzed body fall limp to the ground. Your head strikes the dirt, and you go unconscious once more. Kallie, Adonis. At least several hours later, you both come to consciousness, and it's dark all around you. It takes a moment, but your eyes begin to adjust, and you see Irina clutching her knees, gently rocking with her knees clutched against her chest and her back against the wall of the bridge. Ismark is standing guard by her, shaking with both of his blades drawn. It takes him a moment, but then he notices you begin to stir.
Thank goodness you're alive. I could feel your pulse, but it was so faint. I wasn't sure if I could wake you. I don't think your friends will be as lucky as you.
Wait, which friends? I look around to see who's still with me.
It's just you and Kallie that are now moving around.
But their bodies are still...
Their bodies are still there.
Adonis, are they?
Yeah, I just walk over to where we were. Is there like a tree line?
Yep, so there's a path that curved up to the bridge, and there's a tree line kind of far on the southwest corner and southeast, but it's mostly clearing by the bridge.
I don't know, I think I need some time.
So no one has had a long rest yet, as you're waking up from a severe unconsciousness. Ismark, worried, comes up to you.
I fear for my sister. Do you mind if we rest a while longer before we leave? I'll scout the area to make sure we are safe. But please, look after Irina. While you finish your rest.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna cast Mage Armor on myself. again.
So as you agree, Ismark begins to walk into the trees on the west end of the path, and like kind of along the cliff that falls off down where the river is, and he begins to scout the area. Irina is white as a ghost, and she is just shaking horribly, not even looking up from her feet, just still clutching her knees against the bridge.
Irina, we're gonna stay here with you.
Thank you.
I hate to ask. I know you're probably shaken up, but do you remember what just happened?
I watched the horrible things he did to each of you. So I tried to run, but I wasn't fast enough. He lifted me up by my throat, and it felt as if he was holding my soul. He then looked me right in the eyes and he said, "Next time you won't be running away. The next time we meet, you'll be running into my arms. I will win your heart, and you will be mine, or all of your companions will perish. We are all doomed."
Do you mean he as in Strahd?
She begins to just cry and nod. She's sobbing, clutching her knees, nodding.
Kallie, I think we should, I don't know. We're far away from anything, but I think we should at least bury the bodies of our companions. I know we didn't know them.
I think so too. If we each take turns, so that Irina can rest as well.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
If you begin to dig graves, you still will not have your rest.
And how far are we from that other graveyard? We're pretty...
That was about 2 hours down the road.
Don't have anything to dig with.
If we honor them without burying them.
What do you have in mind?
I mean, I don't great handle on everything, obviously, but maybe we could just make some lights.
Did any of them seem very, to you in any way? I don't know if they...
Oh, you're cutting out.
I didn't know if they wanted any of their remains treated a certain way when... I don't know if any of them were religious. But, I guess I'll go over to Helena's body and, I'm cutting out?
Yeah, you're good now, but it's in and out.
Yeah, that's no good. That's no good for talking. I'm gonna go over to Helena's body, apologizing while doing so through her stuff and see if she had anything that was, or any sort of indication that she believed in a
I'm still
deity.
warm.
I'm trying to find if there's a respect. Send your body to wherever you think it.
You begin to search Helena's body.
I apologize, like out loud while doing it.
You go through one of her pouches and you see a collection of things like the wrinkled finger that she picked up, and the dagger with the rat skull on it. You do come across her 2 potions of healing.
What about Theodore?
I was getting there. You find her spell book and some common alchemy ingredients. As you rummage, you move to her next pouch, and as you release it, you feel a movement. And this little creature comes out of the pouch and looks around. It crawls up on Helena's hand, up her arm, and runs up her shoulder like he normally would. And now he looks distressed.
God, so sad.
Helena would have picked him up by now, would have had wrestled with him, but she's played dead on him before. This has to be a joke, right? Theodore wrestles around, and he puts his head right under her chin and lays just nestled right under her jawline and on her neck, and begins to nudge her, and Helena's body doesn't move.
I guess I'll reach out for the rat with just open hand, because I'm not really sure how I feel about it.
I have to take him, Adonis.
We'll sacrifice them. Come on, Theo, or what?
I think she called him Teddy.
Go ahead and make an animal handling check.
So stupid. Never. 17.
A little reluctant to leave the little nook of Helena's jaw as her face is now laying in the mud and puddle that is collecting around her face. He does hop onto the palm of your hand.
I guess I'll just bring it to my shoulder and just like encouraging it to like get on my shoulder so I don't have to fib. I'm not happy about it.
He doesn't seem that happy about it either, but he does hop onto your shoulder. He looks very confused. Still looking down at Helena's body.
Yeah, buddy, me too. I've seen it before, but do people burn bodies? Is Kallie, do you thing?
Typically burn bodies in my clan, but I don't know what the customs are for. I mean, I guess we never really talked about it.
They're gone, so I mean, we can do your thing. That sounds the closest thing I've got. I don't really have anything.
Alternative would be to take them with us wherever we go, which out of rest for them or for us.
I think we just start collecting wood. Is it raining right now?
Rain wasn't so heavy.
Well, we can't leave the bodies out, so
Oh, we can't leave them.
I could start a fire if we can build a platform to pay our respects.
So would each of you like to take your long rest, finish off your long rest prior to building this, or is this something you would like to do immediately?
How much HP do I have now?
1.
Okay. Perfect.
Adonis, what if we rest with Irina, regain our strength, and then pay the respects that our fallen friends?
Sure. I really don't have any other ideas. And I'm feeling pretty rough. I don't know if I could even accomplish it without a rest.
So the two of you find a slightly dry spot on the bridge to rest your backs against on the other side of Irina. I need both of you to make perception checks for your watch.
16.
17.
The first hour passes, and you just notice the shifting of the clouds in the gray sky on this fairly bright night. The second hour passes. You're starting to feel quite a bit better. You're not feeling so worn down. You're finally starting to get some of your senses back from losing your strength or getting your head struck against the ground. Things are starting to see clear to you. Both of your strength returns to its normal stats. You're still not at a full rest yet, though. About another 30 minutes into your watch, you hear rustling on the west end of the path. Then you hear a snap.
I'm gonna ready. Is that orb that I tried to break still on the ground?
It is.
I'm gonna ready catapult, and if it's anything that I like, yeah. If it's not Ismark, I'm gonna just fire catapult at it.
Are you doing anything, Kallie?
Callie's kind of squinting, trying to see what's happening, listening. She's not doing anything yet.
You hear a few more twigs break under the weight of something as you watch Ismark emerge from the tree line.
Mark that off the spell slot.
He begins to walk along the cliff's edge once more, and makes his way up to the bridge, and he just sits down next to you, also exhausted, and he just looks like all of you do, fed up with this whole place. You sit and wait, silently watching Irina just rock back and forth. And you watch as the moon sets itself in the highest point of the sky. You look around at your fallen companions, and the moonlight shines brightly on the bridge. The light begins to intensify as waves of light begin to shake, illuminating the entire area now. Out of nowhere, you hear a deep gasp and heavy panting. You frantically look around and hear it again. You scan the area once more, and you see, panting in the distance, Gudren, Buio, and Helena sitting up, panting. And
What the hell?
and this is where we will pick up tomorrow.
No. No.
I feel funny.
Wow.
No, we should have.
Are we us or are we them? I don't know what's going on.
Probably. Wait, it's either a really good thing we didn't.
Set us on fire?
Jesse was like, "Are you sure you would have buried them right now? Are you sure?"
I tried not looking at him to see what. I didn't want to gauge what I did off it.
Woof.
Are we vampires? Are we alive? Are we dead?
I hope I'm a vampire.
If I gotta battle you, I'll fucking.
Paralyzed?
What?
Is Adonis still paralyzed?
No, he was up moving around.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I was very stressed out that whole thing. I'm still stressed.
Sad that I was cutting out. Ruined my mojo.
You should have been the one who died.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Oh wait, you said died. So dead?
I don't know.
Are we alive? I just want to know how prepared for something new I should be tomorrow.
I will say you're not dead. It doesn't mean you're alive.
Oh god.
Hmm.
I'll be prepared tomorrow.
I'm gonna introduce you guys to
Wait,
that guy's
do they
son
have
again.
shadows?
What?
Do they have shadows?
They do not have shadows.
Fuck them.
Fuck 'em.
All right. Well, for everybody watching, this will be one video. We'll throw something in this break, but for you guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for stopping it.
Yeah.
No.
So, welcome back, everyone. Last we left off, us as a group left off. It's a short break for you. We ended the whole scene with Kallie and Adonis noticing their three companions sitting up, panting, and breathing heavily. Unfortunately for each of you, we just played out this entire scene plus more, and I had the misfortune of starting to record and stopping it immediately. So, I apologize, and we had quite a few good role-playing moments, and it was a good story, and I'm gonna recap what you've missed, and if you would be so patient to sit with me through this and continue on with our story, it would be much appreciated. We did call this our growing campaigns for a reason. None of us have ever been a part of this. We're not streamers. We're not professionals by any means, and I personally am struggling on the whole quality of sound thing. Anyways, so as our three adventurers who last we left off had lost life, they came to and explained to a very questioning and curious, untrusting Adonis, Kallie, and Ismark that Buio was standing at death's door admiring it when he came to, and he just did not quite feel like himself. Helena was next to rise, and she looked like her normal self, except now there were bugs making nests in her hair, and these just filth-ridden creatures are all of a sudden attracted to her. Kallie tried to clean her up, but it was no use. Lastly, Gudren sits up, and as he catches his breath, everyone looks at him and notices that his face is slightly elongated. He now has claws and talons on his hands and feet, and fur covering the entirety of his body. After a brief discussion and untrusting, Adonis questions each one of them and decides that he will allow Ismark and Buio to take the first watch. Both of them watch and they have a conversation. Buio speaks to Ismark about Irina's experience when Strahd came to visit him. Ismark explained to him that she felt this give to him. All of a sudden, everything was about him. She would do anything he desired, and she invited them into their home and willingly let her feed. Ismark admitted to watching each one of them fall as he did the same thing. He sat and watched as he became charmed by this creature who came and killed 3 of his companions who were helping him, but he could not do anything but watch. He even watched his sister try to run and escape this creature, and when this creature reached her, he pulled her up to her face and told her that she will be his. Next time she will not be running. She'll be running into his arms. And she will be his. Irina, visibly distraught, she is white as a ghost with her arms clutching her knees and just rocks on the bridge, eventually finding sleep. Buio and Ismark continue their conversation, Buio questioning if Irina feels any different after these experiences, and other than her loyalty to Strahd when he would visit, to Ismark's knowledge, she feels no different. Adonis takes the final watch and ends up just kind of admiring the orb that he had taken from the Durst family home. He noticed as he picks it up that it would turn clear and these dark orbs would circle around the orb. And then when he put it down, it would return to its normal form. Kallie woke up to a noise made by Helena, and they had a few conversations, and then Adonis decided to leave the orb. Kallie, unprompted, decided to pick up the orb, walk about 20 feet from anyone else in the group, and tried to break it. She was unsuccessful, and together, as Adonis approached, they noticed that the orb did not change in Kallie's hand, so she set it on the ground. Adonis picked it up and was going to put it into his pack, and he noticed that it became clear and you could see the orbs again, and they discussed how it was different when Adonis touched the orb, but not Kallie. A few hours later, everyone awakened, fully rested, and feeling the best they have in days. They are waterlogged from the constant rain, but compared to the visions they saw in death, it was an improvement. Everyone approached Gudren, who talked about his visions near death. He mentioned that he felt Grumsh's influence, and he could see this eternal battle behind him. He approached Grumsh on a throne, and he smiled as he approached. As he got closer, Grumsh just frowned, and as soon as he showed disapproval, Gudren woke up next to his friends. Helena saw she was knee deep in water and saw an underwater town, and she saw a large building with a spire and something calling her, and blamed the party for waking her up a little too early. Now awake, Theodore was set on the ground by Adonis and returned to Helena. And with their newfound deformities, each one decided to travel back to the Serpool to hopefully find some information. Each fell in line. Helena, unwilling to stand by the rest of the party, followed 15 feet behind. They spent the next 2 hours traveling down the road towards the familiar crossroads and gallows where they first were when they decided to skip the Serpool and go to Valakai. This time things were a little different. They noticed a skeletal beast and skeleton riding a mount and were able to hide and avoid this creature, even though it circled around and came fairly close to Helena, hiding behind a few cubes of dirt that she created. Now moving northwest towards the Serpool, Adonis and Buio had a conversation of before they were here at Barovia. Buio asked Adonis what situation he was in, and Adonis mentioned that he was trying to find some people from his past. Buio agreed and said he was trying to do the same thing. But Adonis admitted that he did not take the proper route and seemed to not be smart about the situation. He ended up getting captured, and a figure told him he was disappointed, and just before revealing himself, the dark-cloaked figure began to remove his hood, and the next thing he knew, he was standing in front of all of his now found comrades. He tried to put two and two together with the cloaked figure met at this bridge and the cloaked figure from his path, but they're different colored cloaks. One was not afraid to show his face, and the other was fairly proud and not willing, or wasn't trying to obscure himself. And essentially, they're leaving the crossroads towards the Serpool. This is where we will start up again.
Great recap.
Yeah, good work.
Thank you, Lord of Stories.
The Lord of Stories. So we're on our way, right? To the Serpool?
Yeah.
Yes.
Serpool.
So, I will say, Buio, as you're leaving, you're leaving the crossroads in a haste, but you hear this eerie creaking behind you. You take a quick...
Perfect.
You take a quick look behind you, and you see the gallows. And where there was nothing before, now hangs a lifeless gray body. A stern breeze heading west starts to slowly turn this hanged figure slowly, so that it fixes its dead eyes upon you. And what you see hanging from the gallows is yourself.
No, I'm just gonna do one of these, like visibly shake myself, turn around. I'm not gonna comment on it.
And you continue your path towards the Serpool. No one else has noticed any of this. Are we keeping our marching order?
Yes. Unless anyone wants to change it. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
I was way ahead of everyone, so it sounds
Oh
like
yeah,
I'm
he,
at the front.
he literally said he's sprinting. That's
I did.
right.
I ran.
Slow down. Wait up.
I was really worried you were gonna say it was someone else, but
Quit that.
that's okay. That me myself is just as bad.
So are you still sprinting?
I start to look behind me as we move forward.
You're
I'm
like,
not able to
This is working.
keep up.
yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna
like
try to keep
you're
up
at least
with
20. You're at least 20 feet in front of everyone though, because
So, yeah, as I kind of feel, the danger starting to lessen, I do a quick look behind, and I realize I'm way the hell in front of everyone. So I'll slow it down to I'm kind of gonna turn around and like jog in place while I'm looking at him and tell him to hurry up. to the Sare pool.
Damn
Okay.
wolf people.
So they all catch up to you. I need a marching order.
I think I'd be naturally behind everybody with
So-
my speed.
Tiny legs.
So Gudren,
I knew it.
Gudren, Ismark, and Irina were. So Gudren, Ismark, Irina, and Adonis would be the closest, and then you'd have Buio.
I'd probably be right up next to Helena at this point. Hey there.
You would probably be. Well, you left. Helena held back, and Kallie held back by Helena. So we're gonna have Gudren,
Okay.
Ismark in the front, Adonis right behind them, Buio just behind Adonis, and then 10 feet behind Buio is, or 15 feet is what you wanted to stay back, Helena? I can't remember.
Yes.
15 feet. 15 feet back is Helena and Kallie, and I just double checked we are recording.
All right.
Oof. Anyways, okay. So I
Growing
have,
campaign.
we're getting to record together.
Fuck the recording. It's okay.
Guys, I promise we had a really good time doing it, and you missed all of it. So.
Yeah.
So shame on you guys.
We're not listening.
You weren't part of it, so you don't get to be.
We have countermeasures to ensure this doesn't happen a third time.
You look very sad, especially with the smile and the. Okay, there you go.
The frog face.
Okay. So.
DM, let's go. Okay, got it.
You are moving towards the circle. Is there anything you would like to do on your way?
Nope.
Nope.
Just keeping an eye out. Well, I'm gonna be looking around, but I'm mostly keeping an eye.
So I do need a perception
Really?
check
Gudren.
from Gudren and Ismark, our leaders. That's a 7 from Ismark.
Gudren has a 10.
Okay. So you continue down the road about 30 minutes northwest, following the sign that said Sare Pool. The road gradually disappears and becomes replaced by a twisted, muddy path. It's no longer just occasional puddles and just like a slight wet, loose soil on top. It's just muddy, you know, that like kind of noise when your feet get stuck in the mud and your shoes are almost getting ripped off with each step.
It's like the shittiest halftime show you've ever marched.
Exactly. So the deep roots in the earth are evident of the coming and goings of wagons here. The canopy of mist and branches suddenly give way to black clouds boiling far above. There's a clearing here next to a river that widens to form a small lake, several hundred feet across. So you're probably 150, 200 feet away from this at this point, but you can see 5 colorful round tents, each 10 feet in diameter, and they're pitched outside a ring of 4 barrel-topped wagons. There's a much larger tent that stands near the shore of the lake. It's sagging, and you can see that it's lit from within. Near the tent, there are 8 unbridled horses drinking from the river. You hear the mournful strains of an accordion that clash with singing of several brightly clad figures around a bonfire. The footpath continues to this encampment.
I'd like to stop and listen to the players for a moment. Just admire the music they're playing.
As a very talented artist, you are slightly disappointed. But for a ragtag group of what looks to be just random travelers who seem to be quite drunk, they're not too bad.
Which
Does
one's
Gudren hate the accordion? Gudren, how do you feel about the accordion? Is it better or worse than the fiddle?
It's not bad.
I'd like
It's
to
welcome, man.
see which one is the most drunk at this point and just put that in the back of my mind.
Make an investigation check.
You should totally fiddle battle them.
That's 18.
Oh, hell yeah, fiddle battle.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, please.
There is quite a few, and there's one that seems to be leaning with his like hand and head against a wagon, who seems to be further gone than everyone else, enjoying their song and revelry.
And this is one of the people of the encampment.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna put that in my mind.
Guys, before we head up, Gudren, should Gudren be entering with us? Are they going to be frightened by him, or should we keep him in the back so that when we approach?
Does my cloak like have a hood?
It does.
Okay. This is an easily solved problem. And I'm gonna put my hood up and just kind of like
What
hunch
about your
over.
claws and your like talon feet or whatever's going on?
I'm just gonna. I mean, don't I still have like boots, or did I? I was not barefoot before, was I?
You were not.
So.
But that
they're
does
like,
not solve your hand
My-
problem.
Do the chickens have large talons? So I'm kind of just gonna. I'm gonna try to the best of my abilities, have the cloak just like almost act like a hermited, like little hunchback of Gudren, you know, or I'm just hunched over my cloak and then try to not reveal the claws, just the best I can.
Okay.
You look great.
Would you
Does he
still
look great?
would you still like to lead the pack?
I'm gonna sort of let Adonis and whoever else take the lead. I'll back up.
So as far as it's me, Ismark, Irina, who are human, right?
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And Buio.
Helena.
I'm human.
Helena is human. Yep.
Well, Buio's halfling.
Completely. fine
Yeah,
with that.
Buio's halfling. Nothing.
Normal looking halfling with a black mask on his head.
Not a half orc with fur or a dragonborn.
Have I seen other like has anyone else we've seen been anything other than this whole time?
Hey, real quick, before I answer, you see, did everyone get the map?
Yep.
Yes.
So the guy spinning right now, you see this?
Yeah.
He's super drunk boy on the wagon.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Are we?
You are about 120, 150 feet away from here.
Oh.
You're on the path, kind of noticing each of these people and their...
And we're to the southeast, correct? Yeah.
You are, yes.
Okay.
This is still like the afternoon, right?
Yes. It is. Not...
Day drinkers.
It's actually
Real hard
like...
day drunk.
It's like 11 a.m.
Super.
Morning drinkers.
All right. This is my kind of crowd.
M-O-U-R-N-I.
Oof.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my fiddle and approach, harmonizing as well as I can with the shitty group of musicians playing.
Nothing like playing with some shitty musicians.
Oh, what are you saying, man?
And just like
Been there.
being a grand old dude.
That was me.
Make a performance check for me.
Oh God.
Roll a 20 and Gudren will like the violin.
Oh, there we go. That's 19.
Hey, that's almost a 20.
Still
you
hate
almost
it.
liked the violin.
Almost. I have this like faint feeling that maybe I could like this music, and then I just remembered that it's the freaking fiddle, and I spit. Not like right at them. I'm just gonna like right where I'm standing, like just forget this.
So you all begin to, behind Buio approach, who takes the lead, playing his fiddle. And you hear the like drunk revelry and cheering and loud conversations kind of slightly come to a halt, and the music quiet as they listen to Buio play. Shortly after, he is interrupted by a, "Hey y'all, we got company." You approach, and there's about a dozen flamboyantly dressed individuals who look up from their pints to acknowledge that you're here, and they all give a cheer.
Hip hip hooray!
As they cheer, the one who called out first says, "Why don't y'all come take a load off? Enjoy the music and wine. Give us some company."
Certainly, good sir. I would love some wine. And I'm gonna gulp that shit down.
There is a large, probably 15, 20 gallon cask that they have.
I'm gonna find the biggest mug that is around and just
There's
fill it to the very brim.
So there's just several pints that are lined up next to the stand that holds the cask up. There's a table. There's just pints lined up there. You pick up a pint and you just fill it to the brim with a wine and begin to guzzle it down.
With a fervor.
I'd create a very tiny, like, 6-ounce cup using minor conjuration. And
A Dixie
so-
cup.
basically, and just just a pip, pip pip, yeah.
Ah, we got one thirsty boy here, and another a little afraid of our drink.
No, yeah. What do you call this stuff?
I believe it's wine, Adonis.
Wine?
Wine.
And your friend would be correct.
Why are there Hicks in Barovia?
It's a very finely made wine, and it reminds you very much of the wine you drink at the Blood of the Vine Tavern, sorry.
Gonna ask. We closest to the drunk guy. Who's talking to us?
There's a man who is sitting on just sitting on a stump by the fire, who stood up and he was waving you over, and there's just several people around who are drinking. Most of them just seem to continue about their business, but he is the most charismatic or the most friendly, who wanted to invite you over for some revelry. You get the feeling that they don't get outsiders that come here very often. You're an exciting group to them.
I'm gonna ask. Why is the wine in this place, this whole area of Barovia, better than any of the food?
Well, you see here in Barovia, not many people have much to live for,
I hear that.
but everyone here does live for their wine. Without the wine, we have nothing here. It's what we use to forget and remember. Easier times.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. I like this guy. What's your name?
The name's Radu.
Rob,
That's Radu Karashkin. It's a mighty fine pleasure to meet y'all.
Rod.
What are each of your names?
Rob, dude.
I'm Adonis.
I'm Buio. Pleasure to meet you.
Buio gets way more into his path, huh? Is this just his roots coming out?
Rod, dude.
No. That's a raw deal. Say, hold on. Wait, take a moment. Hold.
You look like.
Hold on a second. Take a moment. I need you to say it with me. That's a raw deal.
That's a raw dude.
I will. Rod, dude. Very happy.
I think y'all got it now.
That's a raw dude.
That's a raw deal. Yeah, you got it, Adonis. It's a pleasure to meet you. How about your friends?
I love the way you say my name. So.
It feels a strange urge to reach into her pack and put her eye patch on. So,
Callie, what's that about? What's your eye patch got to do with all this?
Callie just ignores Buio. I'm Callie.
Kallie, and what a beautiful dragonborn you are.
Thank you. Have you ever met one before?
Oh, a few have come through these parts.
You ever leave?
Well, unless you're one of us, you don't ever leave.
Ah.
Wait, so you guys?
Rod, dude.
You wait. You guys leave?
Yeah, of
What do you
course.
mean by leave? Leave where? Leave what?
We leave Barovia.
How would you come back?
Why do you come back to Barovia?
Well, you see here, the wine here is finer than anywhere we have ever found.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we stay here and we drink. And occasionally we leave.
How's it that you leave? I mean, from my perspective, Rod, do. Sir.
I just read the chat. I'm
He's
sorry.
going around that name so hard. I love it.
How is it that this mist shrouds the whole place, and when we entered Barovia, there was a gate, and it shut behind us. And now that I'm thinking back on it, we didn't really try to open it again. But can you just open that gate again and leave?
Well, you surely can try, but I promise you, if you enter that mist, it'll choke you dead. I can't explain it, but for some reason, each one of us here can walk right out of these parts and come right back in.
Are you a part of some special group, or like are you religious?
Adonis,
people,
I think they're
or
just
like...
waiting.
Well, you see, each one of us are, we like to call ourselves Vistami.
Lee's gonna rush up to him and give him a hug, but like try to press her head against his chest to see if she can hear a heartbeat.
Make an investigation check.
Also, there's the what?
Vistani.
Vistani.
Alpha.
This
It's a me, a Vistani. Okay, I got it.
Aha, natural 20.
Aha, the natural twine.
As you hug him, he welcomes the embrace. He is friendly as can be, and he's happier than hell that you're here. And as you press your ear against his chest, you don't only hear, but you can feel a very regular heartbeat.
Did it get a little faster when she hugged him?
Maybe slightly.
Ooh.
Callie just kind of like, backs up a little bit.
Well, I see two of you have helped yourselves to our wine. Why don't the rest of you come sit by the fire and enjoy a drink?
I'm gonna take another full whatever I found and gulp that down again.
Damn.
I'll do
Good.
another 6-ounce pour.
I'm just gonna approach the fire, like bypass the drink, and just try to sit.
I'm gonna saddle up next to the drunkest person near the wagon.
I was gonna do the same thing as Gudren.
Well, I have Adonis and Kallie. And then we got the thirsty one who I haven't caught his name yet.
My name's Buio, sir.
Buio. Oh, what a pleasure. Now we have the other two sitting by the fire.
The big one is
they're not.
Gudren.
Gudren, what are they, is he not the friendly type?
He's just cold. And then there's
Oh,
Helena.
help yourself and warm yourself by the fire. The wine will warm your bellies.
We definitely need the warmth.
Helena.
Hi, sir. I'm not much of a drinker. I'm sorry.
As you sit down, Helena, there's kind of two of them somewhat near you, and you watch them try to discreetly step 5 feet or so away from you, but you can't help but notice that they're actively moving away from you.
Aw.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm gonna ask, Radu, Radu, do you have any ale?
Well, we don't quite have the pleasure of having a choice here in Barovia, but, like I said, you will not have a finer wine than anywhere here. Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of starting to stammer over my words. I'm a little drunk.
Convinced me. Callie grabs a cup and fills it up.
There you
Where's
go.
the horses? Thank you.
Radu, you're a hell of a guy.
Well, you know, I once met someone a lot like you. Not you specifically, Buio, but an adventurer type. The kind who was worn and weathered, had a weapon, and had that arcane twinkle in his eye. If you'd like to fill up your cup and take a seat, I think I have a story for you.
I certainly would. And I'm gonna fill up my cup, continue to the fire. Here we go. 3rd pint in.
I'm gonna baby this drink all day.
I'm gonna fiddle with a 1-inch cube of dirt because no one wants to talk to
But
me.
I'm also, I want to listen in. Kind of just hang around Buio.
Gather on round. Get close to the fire. I can see you're all wet. The rain hasn't stopped for 2 days. You might not be the talking type, but I'm sure each one of you are the listening type.
That's right. Yeehaw.
What? I ain't never heard that one before. What was that? A yeehaw?
Yeah, you could also try a good old yee.
Yeah, a yay? I just don't quite understand.
I like it. You should use that. The horses will love it.
Speaking of, Callie is still sipping on her drink, kind of idly petting one of the horses that she just made friends with, and hears all of the conversation, starts to walk back to the fire.
God, she's a horse girl.
Sorry. That shouldn't be that funny. I'm sorry, any horse girls listening currently.
Shouts out to the horse girls, alright?
I don't know what that means, but
It means a lot.
Shout out to all my horse girls.
Anyways, so you all gather around the fire. And you see Radu, who's been a friendly, fun-loving guy this entire time, have a little twinge of seriousness now as he puts his hands together and he begins to tell you a story.
A mighty wizard came to these lands over a year ago. I remember him like it was yesterday. He stood exactly where you're standing now. A very charismatic man he was. He thought he could rally the people of Barovia against the Devil Strahd. He stirred them with his thoughts of revolt and bore them to the castle in mass. When the vampire appeared, the wizard's peasant army fled in terror. Those who stood hit their ground were never seen again. The wizard and the vampire cast spells at each other. Their battle flew from the courtyard of Ravenloft to a precipice overlooking the falls. I saw the battle with my own 2 eyes. Thunder shook the mountainside as rocks tumbled down upon the wizard, yet by his magic he survived. Lightning from the heavens struck the wizard, and again he stood his ground. But when the devil's stride fell upon him, the wizard's magic could not save him. I saw him thrown 1,000 feet to his death. I climbed down the river to search for the wizard's body, to see if, he had anything of value. But the river Ivlis had already swept him away, never to be seen again.
Radu, how long have you been coming and going around these parts?
Oh, shit! I've been a part of this group since I was a kid. It's been at least 45 years.
45 years. That's a long time to be drinking this great wine.
Oh, that's why I'm so happy. He raises his pint towards you, nods, and takes another drink.
To the guy next to me, who I'm next to the wagon guy, this guy, how long have you been rolling around with this guy?
I've been what?
Well, this guy's telling a great story, and he's, giving us drinks and all of this. How do you feel about it?
I feel great. He's a great fellow himself.
I'm gonna attempt to incite words of terror into this very drunk person against the dude.
Sheesh.
So, I'm a little unfamiliar with words of terror. It's if you can speak for a minute, right? Alone, one-on-one.
I'm gonna attempt to talk to this very, very drunk person for a minute. And then
he just keeps stammering on about random bullshit as he was before, and that's easy enough for you to have this conversation.
Yeah. And he's got to make a wisdom saving throw against my spell save DC.
That's a 12.
That's gonna fail.
All
so
right.
he is now
Does he
very.
visibly do a spell, or is what's Buio like?
For this,
It is not visible.
he just has a conversation with him alone. And then all of a sudden you see this drunk man who can hardly hold himself up against the wagon. He's like, oh yeah, he's a pretty man. What is this? Who are you? And he begins to just run around the wagon and dart into the trees and try to hide. But he's drunk and you could see his feet laying out from the trees and he is just shaking violently, thinking he's hidden from Buio.
No, it wasn't from me. It was against the other guy. It was the Rob.
Oh, okay. So he's terrified of Radu?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yep. Just absolutely terrified of him. But he's drunk and doesn't convey this very well.
There's nothing associated with me in this scenario.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I am going to, since I had been obviously talking to him for the past minute, I'm going to go and try and console him in the bushes. Make sure he's okay.
So you see this extremely drunk man shaking with terror, not hidden very well, and he doesn't look up at you because he thinks he is completely hidden.
I'm going to use my halfling nimbleness, or not halfling nimbleness.
The little hidey thing?
The natural stealthy, yes. Natural stealthy to hide what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take a knife and make a small cut.
Make a stealth
on
check
him.
first.
Yes, absolutely.
What's Buio
Stealth
doing,
check.
man?
Harry Potter out here is getting bold.
It's 12.
So, as you see this guy disappear in the woods, and you see Buio go chasing after him, yelling like, "Wait, everything's okay!" Are any of you interested?
Yeah, I've been trying to keep a close eye on Buio. I don't want him to know I'm listening in. I'm just gonna kind of.
I need you to make a perception check first.
9.
So you don't really notice. You notice Buio disappear, but for you to stay stealthy, you kind of slink over, but you notice this close to a dozen people watching you, and you get a little nervous, and you're a little further away, and you can't quite make out what Buio is doing.
I'll leave him to whatever he's doing. I don't know. He's being weird, but I gotta respect his space sometime, I guess. I'm gonna go back to where there's a crowd of people. I mean, I feel safe enough over there. And the fire was warm. I liked it over there. Back to the fire.
Okay.
To sip on what now is 5 ounces of wine.
Swigging for drink, kind of puts her arm on Rabdu's back. Do you have a shadow?
What kind of question is that? And he takes a step forward, and you can see a shadow dancing behind him as the firelight makes a dancing shadow. Do you not? And for the first time, he notices that you, Kallie, do not have a shadow.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, it's just a special thing, that dragonborns do. Yours is beautiful, though. And Callie's just gonna sit back down and drink quietly.
Well, each one of y'all are more than welcome to stay here as long as you want. But before you leave, make sure you see our Madam Eva. I think she has been awaiting your arrival.
Us? What makes you say that?
Well, some of us, some of the Vistani women have a certain way about them. They see things a little differently than we do. And she has mentioned a ragtag group of 5 who was supposed to visit her.
Well, lucky for her, we're still a group of 5.
Well, she was not expecting the 2 humans who were lurking off by the other wagon.
You see Ismark kind of shielding Irina with his hand on the hilts of both of his blades, unwilling to approach this fire at this point.
We're escorting them. They just needed a little bit of protection walking through the woods, as you might understand.
I'm gonna stand up and just be really blunt. Where is this woman?
Whoa.
Well, you see, when I hide her, she's in the long tent over by the river.
I'm gonna walk that way.
Her name was
Madam Eva.
Madam Eva, gotcha. Eva. I'm gonna go with Gudren's walking already. I'm going with because Lord knows I can't have him just talking to people.
All right.
That would be better. Have a good track record, but
So Adonis and Gudren, you approach the tent.
yes.
Yes.
What about the rest of you?
Bad. I don't have that stuff.
You don't have what?
Gonna
Nothing. It's just certain spells I don't have prepared. I'm just
Gotcha.
disappointed now. Okay.
You are now making your way back to the camp, Buio.
Okay. I accomplished what I meant to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Booyah.
I'll see my friends and then try to slink in as much as it's unnoticed. Well, not unnoticed, but
Well, everyone who cares did not notice. Anyone else is drinking or taking in
There
the
you
rest of the environment, and you're able to reappear.
did I hear about the madam?
You did not, but you do see Adonis and Gudren walk to the front of this tent that is lit up, even though
That
it's the
does
middle of
intrigue
the
me.
day.
Very, very drunk and now satisfied Buio is gonna join Gudren and Adonis.
I will
Helena?
join them as well.
Callie?
Callie's going.
As you approach this tent, you see this reddish glow, and that is where we will take a quick break. Okay, so after a short break, we left our adventurers who have just approached Madame Eva's tent. Magical flames cast a reddish glow over the interior of this tent, revealing a low table covered in black velvet cloth. You no longer hear the music and revelry outside, which, I guess you hear it for another 1 second here. There you go. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball on the table as a hunched figure peers into its depths. As the crone speaks, her voice crackles like dry weeds. At last, you have arrived. Crackling laughter bursts like mad lightning from the withered lips. I have been awaiting your arrivals. I've been very excited to meet you. Your encounter at the bridge had me worried. I wouldn't get the chance to meet you. So needless to say, I am happy you are here.
You saw the bridge incident?
Oh, I've seen much more than that, Adonis. Impressive making such a powerful friend at such a young age. Boss would be proud if he saw you where you are now. There is still so much you need to learn, but with your resourcefulness, you will find everything you are looking for.
Adonis, what is she talking about?
Buio. Escaping the clutches of Raihan was no easy task. An impressive one for someone on the road on his own. Your music has the power to shape your future.
I'd say so.
Of yourself and those around you. Use it wisely, though. You may find yourself in a similar predicament once more. You have your mother's eyes. Has anyone told you that?
And no one's seen my mother to tell me that. Not in a long time.
Gudren. Your victories in the ring were as impressive as escaping and living on your own. A lonely half-orc, with only his rage to warm him. Even more so. But none as impressive as casting aside the influences of Grumsh and keeping a good heart. For now. Helena.
Helena.
Helena. Always cast aside, but always positive. Quite the talented girl for always doing things on your own. It's a very impressive what you did with those bullywogs. If you share some of your knowledge with me, I may have some of my own to share with you.
Okay.
Kallie. So sweet. So naive. So innocent. Yet you're bursting at the seams with raw power. It seems you are beginning to get a handle on your powers. Until that last incident. What would the twins think? Remember, in times of trouble, even though you have left, Gladeros is still watching over you. Now that I've given you a taste of my gift, would you like to hear your fortune?
Yeah, how much does it cost me?
I have been awaiting your arrival. This one is on me.
Okay, I'll listen.
Yeah.
Have,
Old crone, tell us.
You see her produce an old, worn deck of cards. She begins to shuffle them.
Oh, tarot card.
oh, Eva, what young hands you have.
You're the worst.
There's the dragon, the old lady, and the...
She deals 3 grave cards. And then 3 more grave cards.
She puts one down in defense mode.
She produces a second, smaller deck. And she begins to shuffle.
Then you activate her trap card.
And she sets it behind the other.
Oh no.
So much flavor.
She goes to reveal the first.
Oh.
And sets it down.
This card tells you of history, of knowledge of the ancient. This will help you better understand your enemy. The Abjurer. I see a fallen house guarded by a great stone dragon. Look to its highest peak.
She reaches for a second card.
This card tells you of a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope.
And she lays it down before you.
The Rogue. I see a nest of ravens. There, you will find your prize.
Once again, she reaches to the deck and pulls a third card.
This card is of power and strength. It tells you of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight.
And she produces her third card.
The Monk. The treasure you seek is behind the sun, in the house of the saint.
She straightens her deck of cards and removes the first one. She then reaches to her second deck of cards and says,
This card sheds light on the one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness.
and she lays the Executioner on the table.
Seek out the brother of the Devil's Bride. They call him the Lesser. But he knows, or he has a powerful soul, and I think you may know who he is already.
Isma.
And she draws a fifth card.
Your enemy is a creature of darkness, whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him.
And she lays down the Innocent.
He dwells with the one whose blood sealed his doom. A brother of light, snuffed out too soon.
And she removes her second deck.
Stone dragon, holy symbol.
Yes.
Well, we got the Ismark part down.
What was that first one again?
To your
Tower.
knowledge, it was the Abjur house guarded by a stone dragon.
High Peak.
High speed. I got no idea what it means.
Well, Lady Eva, what? I know you can't tell us anymore, but what else did you need from us?
I just want the best for the lands. And I am here to give you your fortunes to make you the most successful you can. Be on your way. I personally will not interfere one way or the other. I am merely telling you your fortune. Heed my words, because they will be very important to you. In my visions, I see each one of you falling without fulfilling these 5 fortunes.
Well, some of us already have.
I think she knows that
She apparently
somehow.
I did watch you fall and rise once again.
Is there any ailment or anything we can do to restore ourselves the way we were before?
Both the beauty and the curse of Barovia. Here you are, stuck with your vices.
So no. All right then.
Madam, this might sound like a silly question. So, if we all fall, will we all have things?
I'm sorry, honey. I think you need to speak up.
Does this mean that we will all fall, like the 3 of them did, and we'll fulfill things?
If you do not follow the first 4 fortunes and use the 5th to locate your enemy, each and every one of you will fall, and your souls will be trapped here like hundreds of others in the land of Barovia.
Hopefully, those begin to make sense to us as we continue.
Silly Adonis, they already make sense to me.
Oh yeah? Why don't you explain them to me right now?
I'll tell you later.
No, just tell me now. Everyone hear this. Everyone needs to know.
You figure it out.
Alright. Keep your secrets.
She looks at you, Helena, and you see her black velvet table, velvet cloth table, blue velvet cloth table, disappear.
Beautiful.
And in front of you emerges a cauldron with a green arcane flame under it.
I understand you have a knack, very similar to mine. I may have a thing or two to teach you. If you can show me...
I'm not nearly as skilled as you are, Lady Madam Eva, but I know my way around a pot or two.
Well, why don't you just show me?
Doop, 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 doop. I'll walk up to the cauldron and start cooking some stuff for her.
Big dips.
And
If I could turn my TV on.
well, do you know what you would like to start to cook? I could help you.
We could do. Oh, here it is on my lap the whole time. We could do. Let's do jump. So we have the grasshopper legs and the basic ingredients.
So you watch, all of you watch as Helena pulls out a, just a vial, a Erlenmeyer flask, and a few other small pieces of glassware. You see her pull out a small pouch of powdered iron, cloves, and some other root that is unfamiliar to you. She pulls out 2 sets of grasshoppers' hind legs. She puts them in a beaker and she starts to mash them all together. You watch her pull a water skin out and pour a little bit of water on it, and again begin to muddle these ingredients together. She then sets the beaker over this cauldron and it floats above the flame. And you watch the beaker pour itself into the cauldron, and she hastily pulls a few things out of her bag and throws it into the cauldron. I need you to make a wisdom check for me.
19.
Ooh. Okay.
Much better than the time I rolled for my life. It's okay, I'll find a nice warm boy to be my boyfriend.
So,
A nice warm.
you all wait a couple minutes as you watch Helena do her thing, adding a pinch of something here, a pinch of that there, and is stirring this pot in front of you. She continues to stir, and a few moments later, you see her reach her hand into the scalding hot brew like it doesn't affect her at all. And she fills her Erlenmeyer flask with a thick green paste. And she pours it into a thin vial and she stoppers it.
What are you doing, Helena? What's in the...
Shh. 1 second, dear. 1 second.
And
I'm gonna shake around the flask and see how it settles.
It's a very consistent, thick green paste.
Is it... Did you do it?
Do you know what that is?
I sure did.
What'd you do?
Did. Go ahead and drink this, and you should be able to jump like a grasshopper.
Oh, wait a minute. I was hoping to keep that for myself.
Oh, okay. You can have it. You
For...
might want to test it out now.
Oh, I believe in your abilities, Helena.
Well, at
you
least one of
don't
us
wanna
does.
see Buio jump like 30, 40 feet or whatever.
Well, you know what?
I, for one, would love to.
She takes the vial and she takes she just lets a small sliver of this thick, consistent fluid like fall, and you watch her like kind of chew, like almost if you're chewing on like blended spinach and kale
Grasshopper.
and grasshopper.
Tropical
Gross.
green. Yeah. Tropical smoothie. Yeah. There we go. Delicious.
She tastes it for a minute and she starts to jot down some notes.
Dead.
All right, this will do. If you would like to take this and try it out yourself, Buio, I am sure you will be completely fine.
He's gonna, without thinking, because he is still very drunk at this point,
True.
just go ahead and take the drink that's handed to him and gulp it down. How does he feel? How do I feel?
You feel extremely light and limber.
Ooh, I thought I was small, but now I feel even smaller. Guys,
You
hey,
feel
I think I can do
you-
something.
you feel like there's just a massive amount of potential energy just stored in your legs.
Buio, let's go outside. Jump the tent.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Sounds like an awesome idea.
Run outside the tent, and then, without really waiting, just try to jump over the tent.
You jump over the tent, this 10-foot tent, and instead of just clearing the tent, you explode off the ground and you travel 75 feet and crash into the Iveless River.
Shit.
Drunk, drowning.
So I go outside. I cast Alter Spell, and I do the aquatic adaptation and swim after him.
So Buio is drunk and like slightly just like meandering down the stream, like giggling as the river is starting to take him away, and Adonis comes and grabs you and brings you to shore. Inside the tent,
Glad I prepared that one. Jeez.
Impressive, as I knew it would be, Helena. And for that, I have something to give you. And she hands you a rolled up piece of paper that's banded together.
Well, thank you, Lady Eva. I'll open it and read it.
It is the recipe for a potion of command.
Nice.
Oh, well, thank you, Lady Eva. I'll let you know how this one turns out. Are you gonna be around, or do you guys just travel? Wherever.
You can find me here at the Sayre Pool. Most of the time.
Okay, well, if I mess it up, too bad. I'll come say hi.
Would you all give me and Helena a moment to ourselves?
Buio and I have already.
Yep, I'll exit.
Kallie.
Ollie's leaving.
Okay.
You come around here often?
So she has a moment with Helena and asks Helena to send in Gudren.
Alright.
Okie doke.
Just splashing in the pool with the
I'll
Adonis.
do just
Tryna-
that.
We just
She-
had a nice
Trying
little...
to bring me back to the shore. I'm just like, no, but I can float.
She has another moment
downstream.
with Gudren and asks to send in Buio.
I'm gonna be dragging him on shore. Like, Buio, come on, no. You
I'll
can't
exit
float
the
as good as you
tent.
think.
I'm
I'll
very
exit the
reluctant.
tent and I'll help Adonis I'll grab him with Adonis and you've been summoned, and we'll try to bring him into the tent.
Once he's in, I'm leaving the tent.
Same.
So she has her moment with Buio and then asks Kallie and Adonis both to come into her tent. So she dismisses Buio after having a few moments with him and asks him to bring Adonis and Kallie into her tent.
Okay.
Guys are up.
I guess I'll keep my gills and stuff, whatever.
So the two of you enter the tent and you each have your moment and leave. And you see half of this group of 12 who have been drinking are now sleeping against stumps, leaning against posts. Only 6 of them are continuing to drink. Radu being one of them, laughing and enjoying the company of his others. And this is where we will pick up next week.
Yay!
Yeah.
I will send each of you a little tidbit for your meetings with Eva.
Yay!
Eva.
Eva.
Wally?
Directive.
Ooh, Radu! I love me some Radu.
I'm a pretty big fan of Raw Dog too. Well, sorry about our mishap earlier. Thank you for continuing to watch if you did. Our show will be 1 p.m. on Sundays Eastern Standard Time. Please enjoy us. There'll be recipes and videos for our cocktails. Come and drink them with us. I'll be most likely sitting here and enjoying them with you and some of our friends. And we appreciate you stopping in and being patient with us as we go through our growing campaigns. And hopefully we'll see you next week.
Growing campaigns.
I need them 8,000 hens moved into their new cages. Sometimes they don't want to cooperate. But you give them a good shaking, they'll settle down for you.
Do the chickens have large talons?
What?